Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Alaina, and this is The Organized Money, where we talk about planning life and managing money. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a money audit. So I decided a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to do a summer money audit. The goal of this process and the main reason I am doing this is because I want to be way more intentional with the way that I am spending, saving, and handling my money in general. If you want to be more present and more intentional, you have to do some type of pause. Pausing is the only way to see where you've come from and where you're going. It's the time where we kind of develop a strategy. And so that's my goal. And in this video, I wanted to walk through the process. So we are going to be talking about what is a money audit, the goal of the money audit, the benefits of the money audit, why summer is the perfect time to do it, and then we are going to do my money audit together. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is a money audit? A money audit is a purposeful pause. It's a moment where you evaluate where you are, where you're going, and how aligned your life currently is to the goals that you have. So it's us getting out of that day-to-day rhythm. We have a certain pattern, we have habits, we have routines that we commonly do on a day-to-day basis. And when we have those routines, many times we are not thinking as we are moving about our day. We are doing the same things that we would normally do, and we are spending our money the exact same ways that we would normally spend it. The purposeful pause causes us to stop and to think about, why did I spend my money that way? Does that actually align with my life and where I want to go and the person that I want to be? This is a pause that causes you to kind of take a step back and evaluate everything that you're currently doing. Now, you might evaluate and you might love it. You may feel like you're headed in the right direction, and then that means just keep going. But for most of us, we will find different things, small things that we could possibly tweak and change that would make this a much better journey for us, that will help us with our finances. And so that's the goal, to take a moment to step back and to just pause and to think about everything that's currently going on, just to evaluate where we are and where we want to go. So what are the benefits? What are the benefits of doing a money audit? The first one I kind of mentioned, but it is breaking the cycle of our habits, of our routines, of the way that we normally spend money. We are trying to break that so that we could really start to pay attention and make sure that we are headed in the right direction. The second thing a money audit will do, though, is reveal what's actually working. Some of these habits and some of these routines are actually working to your benefit. They have improved your overall finances, and now is a great time to take a step back and even look at that. Sometimes we could be so hard on ourselves in our money journey, so it can definitely benefit you to celebrate your wins, even if they're small ones. And the third thing the money audit will do is to help you to organize your thoughts. You are probably really overwhelmed with your bills, with all of the expenses, all of the different events coming up, all of these things coming at you at one time. It just constantly feels like there's so many things to pay for and not enough money to pay it. But your money audit can help you to organize your thoughts, see all of these expenses on paper, write everything down, and start to prioritize and eliminate different expenses as you see fit. This process is designed to help you to be more intentional. So it's all about paying attention. And let me tell you why summer is the perfect time to do this. Summer breaks your routines already. The kids are out of school, which means now we're on summer break. We have lighter workloads. We may be doing more traveling. So this is the perfect time to slow down and pause, because everything else is already slowing down and pausing. And this is a perfect time to pause and reflect, because we all know that the fall brings back to school and more expenses. And so this is the perfect time to prepare for everything that's going to happen in the second half of the year. Now we are going to do my money audit together. Whenever we do a money audit, I am always looking at 5 areas: my income, my budget, my savings, my debt, and my investments. So let me show you how I evaluate myself in all 5 of these areas. So you want to do your money audit in a place where you can go back and reflect on everything that you have written down. I am going to do mine in my Tom 90 planner. This is the one book that I use to organize my life. I currently have 6 sections in here, but we're going to flip back to my budget section because this is where I am going to add all of my notes for my money audit. I'm going to use the very last page of this month. This is my June budget, and I'm going to add it on the last page of this month, which is this notes page, because I know that I'll remember that I did this money audit in June, and so this is the perfect place for me to be able to reflect and go back to what I have written down here. So I'm going to get some stickers out of the back here, and we are going to write down the 5 areas and talk about them. So the very first area that I have is my income. Under the area of my income, I had 3 goals at the beginning of the year. The very first one was to start my one-on-one consulting back. So I was doing one-on-one coaching heavily around 2020, but I had to scale back in 2021 when we were preparing to launch our church. And so one of my goals for this year was to get back into one-on-one coaching. I also wanted to increase my income by 20% and relaunch my budget on paper course. Now with these goals, I did restart my one-on-one, so that one is pretty good, and I do feel like I am still in alignment with that. I am still headed in the right direction because that is something that I am aiming to do. I do want to do more coaching, more workshops, more speaking engagements. My goal is to start to teach way more when it comes to money, and I do feel like this is leading me right on the right track, and it's in alignment with my current purpose. The second goal I had was to increase my income. Now, this one I'm not as much in alignment with as I was at the beginning of the year. And I think it's because I have slightly changed the way that I even approach what I do. So I have been heavily focused on my products in the past, in which I still love my planners. I love creating planners. I love my budget planners. I love all of the products that I have, but I do also really want to lean in on my speaking. And so since that's the case, I'm not pushing products as much as I was in the past, which means that I do not think that I'm going to achieve this goal, nor do I think it is a feasible goal for this particular year. Once you are turning a ship and you are changing the way that you are making money, you're probably not going to see an increase for a particular amount of time. Now, how long will it take? I'm not sure, but I am still okay with the change of this particular goal and just really focus in on teaching and my financial therapist certification and not really so much on the income. So we're not really worried about this one anymore. I am going to scratch that one off. And the last one that I have is to relaunch my budget on paper course. Now, this is something I definitely want to do. I feel like it is in alignment with my teaching and the workshops that I want to do. So this is something that's still on the list and something that I definitely need to work on. So under my area of income, this one wasn't too bad. I have one thing that I have started, one thing that I need to start, and one thing that's not relevant anymore. And so now in the area of income, I know that I am going to be focusing in on this one because this is the top thing that I need to do that will keep me in alignment with my purpose. So now let's move on to the second area. The second area is my budget. So the 3 goals that I had this year under my budget was to prepare my monthly budgets every single month, track my expenses every single day, and to do a budget closeout at the end of every single month. So how did I do with this one? I always do well with preparing my budgets. I feel like over the last couple of years, this one I have been able to perfect for the most part. I'm pretty good with staying on top of them. However, not so much with tracking my expenses. And tracking my expenses, I realized, is heavily tied to how busy I am. What I have decided to do is to to not track them daily as much as weekly, and a weekly has been working for me right now. So I am kind of putting an asterisk right here because I know that that's probably not the best way for me to do this. I know that I am more consistent when I do it daily. Sometimes if I have a high spending week, then this will be very challenging for me to do and I will skip it. But I am slowly getting back into it. I do still feel like it's in alignment with my goals and with where I'm trying to go because I do need to track my expenses, but I have been exploring options as far as like looking at everything for the week or just grouping everything together or possibly downloading my transactions on those high spending weeks so that I can easily categorize them and I can put them in my budget planner as the sum. So exploring options there, but this one is still in alignment with my current goals, so we will keep that on there, and my budget closeout. So this is something I highly need to work on. I have not been doing my budget closeouts for this year, and that was one of my top goals that I wanted to do at the beginning of the year. So to say that we are so far in, that this is the 6th month and I still have not really started doing this. I think I did it once this year. That means that this is something that I really want to work on and add to my habit tracker. So if you're paying attention, then you notice that you should start to see a pattern. Under my income, this is the top thing that I want to complete. So this is the top thing that I am adding into my habit tracker. So that means on a daily basis, I need to be doing something toward relaunching this course. And then when it comes to my budget, the top thing that I want to prioritize is my budget closeout. This is the top thing that I would like to do that I feel like will keep me in alignment with all of my money goals. And so when I do this process again at the end of the year, when I am evaluating the goals that I had the entire year, it's almost like I'm giving myself a fresh start right now in June so that the second half of the year from July through December, I can really zone in and get these things done. Third area is savings. So for my savings, I wanted to save consistently, which means I wanted to save every single check, and I also wanted to save in my long-term savings and reach a goal of $10,000 and save in my short-term savings and reach a goal of $3,000. So as I am auditing these goals, I am thinking about what I have done so far. I know that I am currently saving every single paycheck. That is something that I have consistently done since the middle of last year, and it has definitely been working for me. However, a majority of that money has been going into my long-term savings. So I'm doing really well with this goal and not so much with this goal. So this is going to be the one that I am going to focus in on because this is the one that I really need to work on. And that is just saving in my short-term emergency fund. And my short-term emergency fund is for random things that can kind of come up throughout the month. It is also for travel or for repairs, but many times random things will come up and I do not have $3,000 in there right now. On average, I will have about $500 to $1,000 in there, and that is not enough to cover a majority of our repairs, which means that I always usually end up pulling from my long term, and I do not like to do that. So the goal is to get this short-term savings account up to $3,000. That's the thing that I'm going to prioritize. That's the top thing that I'm going to take from this audit and put on my habit tracker, splitting the amount that I am saving consistently between the two, and it's not all going into my long-term savings account. The next area is debt, and my biggest and only goal for debt currently has been to pay down all my credit card debt. And I can tell you right now that one is not going well. I have really been focusing in on savings, and the reason why is because I wasn't comfortable about where my emergency account was, and so I wanted to get this number back up to 10K before I really started to pay down any debt. And this is mainly because I live in New Orleans. We have hurricanes. We always have random things that could possibly come up. And so I wanted to have money on hand just in case we needed to leave the city. June and August is super close. So that was my priority, but I do want to prioritize this once I have hit the amount that I need in my short-term savings. I know I want to prioritize this. After after I have my savings amount reached. And the last area that we have is investments. Now, my investments are pretty much on auto, and I don't have a really big goal right now for my investments, but to consistently put money toward them. And so currently I am investing every single paycheck, which is every single week. That is working, but it's a small amount. Right now it's about $50, and my goal is to increase that dramatically after I have paid down the credit card debt. And so that's my goal, is to continue this investment until I pay down the debt, and then I will increase this investment, but I won't pay down the debt until I have my $3,000 in my short-term savings account, which means that I need to save consistently and make sure I am doing my budget closeout. So all of this kind of connects. If I am doing one, then it's definitely going to help the other four. So what does this mean? Now that I have this list, instead of me trying to think of all of the different things that I could possibly do to improve my money, I have 5 things that I can do that's going to help me to improve my money that I could start now and do until the end of the year, and I will be set. So guys, that is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you will do this process, do a money audit, take some time out to just think about where you are in all 5 of these areas. What goals did you set at the beginning of the year that you could possibly reevaluate now? Are those goals still in alignment with you or not? You could change your mind about some of the goals that you have on your list like I did here, but doing this process will really help you to see where you are. If you decide to do this, let me know in the comments below how it works out for you, and I will see you all in my next video. Until then, keep organizing your life so that you can achieve your dreams. Bye guys.